Sure everything is getting up and going. And pulling up the chats. Okay, I think we are set. I think this time I can actually see when people are. Well, I don't see who it is. I see, I can count, so that's kind of nice. But how's it going? Back to streaming today. We have some more opals to cut. I also have more control over the camera. I have. You'll notice some music in the background. I think. Let me know if you can hear it or if it's too loud. I felt pretty fancy setting that up. So there's some music. I did pick some weird music. Just warning. I was like, oh, I could get some pop station or whatever, but it all sounded the same. So I picked another kind of genre that will be quite different. And so yeah, we'll cut some opals today. Again, if you just want to reach out or say hi or anything, be sure to chat. I should be able to see it. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. I did show you guys a few of them. Oh, I want to show you guys. I'm gonna get this set to get carved. This is an Oregon sunstone. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna actually take the camera right now, show you a few things, especially since I said I could. Let me go ahead and change over this. Let's switch over the control so you guys can see this. So right here, let's go. There we go. So this is an Oregon sunstone, and I went last weekend. My brother and I, we went to Oregon to go mine for some of these, and that was pretty fun. We went to a Double Eagle Mine 16, and we found some. This one I purchased as a solid, as a rough piece. I'm gonna get this carved. It's gonna be called like a fantasy cut, where they can make special grooves in the background. So that's gonna look pretty cool. And then we're working on today. We're probably gonna start out working on some of the opal that broke from last time. Here it is. Let's see if I can get under the light a little bit better. Here it is what it looks like in the broke pieces. There's one piece. Here's another piece from the broken. And then here's what I've been starting to work on. So this one I need to reshape a little bit, but it does look really good polished. So, I mean, it's still a fairly valuable gem, just not as big as I had, hoped for. So that looks pretty cool. We're also going to be working on, if time given. This is my black opal that I mentioned in the post, if you guys saw that. So this one we're going to be working on getting the shape going. Let me get it a little bit more. We're going to be working on getting the shape. I'm going to decide whether to make it oval or go with free form. Right now I'm thinking oval because this would be an awesome ringstone it would just be an awesome ringstone. So then the other amazing one that we're going to be working on, if we have time, is this one. Now look at this one and look at the pattern of that color. This is what you'd call honeycomb. Ethiopian opal has like a honeycomb pattern. And you can kind of see the repeating, or like it almost looks like digital. So we're going to be cutting that. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and let me show you one of these stones that I got cut, one of the sunstones. Let's see, so trying to get this in the camera. I'll pull it out again later. I'll get it out of its case and we can look at it a little bit better in a little bit, but kind of want to get started. So let me go ahead and put it back on autofocus. There we go. Pull that up. And again, if you're watching, feel free to send out a chat if you want to get a hold of me, ask a question. Otherwise, I'll just talk and probably say random stuff because apparently that's what I like to do. So I'm going to take the big one that, remember last week we cut off kind of the end of it. I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this down. And I don't know if we're going to be able to keep it this big because I won't know, especially until I try to dop it with that fire again. So first of all, I'm just going to try to get an overall shape, figure out what kind of shape I want to do, because it is longer. But if I go like this, I think I can cut it down into a nice oval, or maybe this one might be a pear shape or a teardrop. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to give myself some more water to work with. So, oops, put on my work glasses. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about it. And you should be able, I did some tests, the sound should be coming through this and everything. So let's go ahead and get started. So this, I'm just trying to pick the side that's going to be most interesting and biggest and give me like the most value. So I actually think this side up is the more interesting. Get it wet again. Yes, I want this to be the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and flatten out the back. If I go in at an angle, well, I have to flatten this side out too anyways. Go ahead and get rid of that sharp edge. So I'm hoping to get, a fairly good sized gem out of this one, if it doesn't crack. So I'm kind of expecting that it's going to crack when I try to put it on that wax stick again. If you're trying to message me and like my cell phone number and I don't see it, I'm testing out a couple different places. Feel free to text me or whatever, so that I know that I'm getting and responding. Yeah, I don't think anyone. So I just want to make sure I respond to anyone who has a question. So right here, again, I'm still taking this back end out a little bit more. I don't want to go too far because that has the best color and combination. It has that repeating pattern again, kind of that, Well, hey, Wendy. Nice to meet you, too. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you. It's kind of fun. I like my mom. I think my mom wants to make my, when I call her, my cell phone song, the Shiny from Moana. Yeah, that's the right movie. From Moana, because I guess I like the sparkly gems and stuff, and it's shiny. But no, thank you. So right now, once I get this a little bit further down, I'll do a progress pick where we stand on it. I'm also kind of cutting it at an angle so that I maximize the size. And I'm just cutting away. I still have a little bit of clay on the edges I need to get rid of. So before I do any really, design work or shaping work, I have to get rid of that and make sure that's all taken care of. So I'm thinking with this one, so to get the most value out of this one, what I'm going to do is I'm thinking of making or designing kind of a three stone pendant where it's gonna go small, medium, and large, and like in between I'll put diamonds or something. And I think that way I can still get a lot of value out of this opal because there'll still be a lot of carats on that piece, even though each individual one is a little bit smaller. But I mean that's what happens. After that happened last time, I went on YouTube and checked for other people, seeing if they were, if other people were having same issues, cracking and stuff. And then I also took that one I showed you earlier that I had been working on, that little tiny one. I took that one and I held it over the flame quite a bit. So I think there was just some internal fractures on that big one that I was working on that caused it to break. So, and there's a crack right there. So I'm kind of thinking this one will also crack when I try to dop it, but we'll try. I'm almost tempted to heat it up right now, but I don't want to heat it up too much, or I don't want to stress it too much in case it does work as a full stone. So I'll probably just try to make the big stone and go with it. Now it has kind of a triangle shape. I maybe want to keep that triangle shape. But if I do the idea where I want to take the three stones and do a small, medium, and large, I also want to keep it so that they're the similar shape. So I'm going to go for an oval most likely. Even though that means I'll probably have to lose some of the material, I think the end value overall will be increased if I go with an oval. And then it's just trying to get the biggest oval I can. And I think the biggest I can get. Oh. Is actually, if I go to this point, you can't really see, I'll show you. I'm going to go to this point, and that'll give us a nice long oval, and a still fairly thick one. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And I actually lose less than I was otherwise going to lose. So now I'm going to go ahead and shape it. I just have to cut a little bit of material. And I do need to cut off on this side, kind of make an edge. This wheel has kind of been worn off for a while. I've had this machine for about a year, and I've used this wheel probably the most. And it does take a while to cut the stones, but I almost like that, so that I don't make mistakes by just trying to cut too fast. So that's looking pretty good. I have some I have to cut out there, but that's okay. And it's nice because on this corner I don't have a lot of color anyways. So I'm just going to go ahead and do what I was doing there. Yeah, Wendy, let me know. I'm happy to cut opals. So yeah, just keep going on it. Now I'm about where I want for the shape, so just gonna do a little bit more. I was going to try to look up some jokes to tell, but I didn't look any jokes up. Last week we had a person that was telling some joke. They told a good one. I need to go find to see if I have a record of that. It was a good. Something like, what did the coal say to the diamond? And it's like under a lot of pressure. It was funny. That was a joke butchery. If you want to know how to butcher jokes, that's how you do it. Okay. Now I'm just seeing. I think I might actually go on that corner instead of going that point to point. No, that's still what I need to do. So, cut this side down a little bit more. Now I'm kind of just making a visible edge for me to use as my guide so that I'm looking at it. So now I just need to take this part down. Now it's looking more like an oval. So now with that oval, I'm just going to keep working at it until now if I go on its side. The reason why I want this way up is because it's a more unique pattern, but I actually would get a bigger one. If I go kind of sideways right here. And I do have those other two, so I can also modify my shape and kind of match this shape. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably make this one the biggest shape, and it's going to have this, it's going to be kind of a free-form pattern, but I'm going to try to make it a little bit more symmetrical. But it's not going to be a standard size. It's not going to be a standard size, but it will have the largest, if it doesn't break when I'm, on the process, it'll have the largest footprint. So that's the way I'm going to go about it. Need to round this out a little bit. I mean, a lot of cutting this is just kind of looking at the stone and trying to get the most return out of it, and also orienting it so that it looks the best. So I'm going to kind of make it an oval teardrop or pear. If I keep this side up, it still has some of that good pattern. So now, just to make it kind of a little bit more symmetrical, it has a pretty cool pattern. When it dries out, you have to check it out because it's pretty. I like it. Okay, so basically this corner has to go. I'm going to try to make this have a high dome. Alright, I think I'm just about there with the, at least for the general shape I want it. I'm going to take it down so I can kind of get them a little bit more rounded area as well. I'm trying to even out the top right now just a little bit so I can see it a little bit easier than what I'm currently seeing. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to go flatten out the back just a little. And I'm doing this so that when I'm cutting the top, I have a little bit more of a flat kind of area to go off of. I can also use the bottom to judge. It's still a little bit heavy on this one side, so I'll need to take that corner and round that corner off. And I'll do that once I get this a little further down. Let's see some chat. Let me make sure no one's. So we're getting there, so close. Hi Lolo. Glad you can make it from the vast distances of across the room. I have, oh thank you Lolo, double streaming. Best way to watch. You know, if you know those at home, like go ahead, you know, log into YouTube, log into Twitch, and log into Facebook. You know, so that when I click on the stats afterwards, it looks like I have a bunch of viewers. Actually, at the end of this, I'm actually going to try to use a different technique. A lot of my older stones, I would just round out the bottom, or just make a really flat bottom. But I've learned that if you have a clear stone, sometimes if you lightly round out the bottom, it helps the light a little bit better bounce around in the stone, giving it a little bit more room to like show off its light and everything. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I did notice that Twitch seemed to have the biggest delay when I was well, I don't know, does Twitch have the biggest delay or is it one of the others? I wonder if I'm the only the person cutting gem on Twitch. One of these times I'll have to sporadically add some Overwatch or something since Twitch is kind of gaming. But I did put myself on there as Twitch as maybe, you know, I'm the only person cutting gems on there. So that's kind of fun. Alright, so we're getting that bottom close done. Just about there with the rest of it. Going to even up some of the other spots. Going to take out this heavier spot on this side. I'm actually going to come to this one so I get that little rounded one. Oh, that is true. So I should read the comments when I respond to them. So Lolo says, The problem is they don't stream at the same time, so you hear me twice. That makes sense. That would probably be a problem. Twitch is the earliest. That's good to know. And you should read my comments out loud. And the people on Facebook and YouTube don't know what I'm saying. That is true. Thank you, Lolo. Did I interrupt your gaming? Did your latency go down or go up? I guess. All right, I'm getting ready to dop it. Just a little bit more. Well, thanks, Lo. You stopped so you could watch me. Thank you. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys, once I get this shape just a little bit more, I'm going to show you what it looks like before I break it over the fire. I'm just doing a little bit more work on this shape. Well, another trick is to dry off the stones when you are cutting them, so that the water, sometimes the water will hide your little gaps and stuff, or show you some other things. So dry your stones, and then you'll be able to see a little bit easier what they look like. Okay, at this point, I do like it. So let's go ahead and see if it breaks when I put it under fire. And I'm going to take a swig of Mountain Dew for luck. I like Mountain Dew. Alright, so let me bring the camera in. Let me get my camera focus picture settings or whatever they're called up. Alright, turn off autofocus. Bring this in. So now, let's go ahead and make this so you can see close up. So this is what it looks like right now. So right here, you can still see it's still a little heavy on this side, but I don't want to take off too much right now. I can fix that when it's on the dop stick, and then I can use the top to actually judge and then I can finish the shape once it's off. So I mean, it's still a pretty good. The height is what I really am excited for. We'll be able to have a really nice tall dome on that. So now the next stage is to put it on a dop stick, and hopefully it doesn't crack like its brothers, and then start shaping the top. So let's back up here. I'm just going to leave it at that focus just for fun. Just kidding. Can you guys hear the music and stuff that I have running? Because I was trying to be fancy, put on some cool music while it's running, so that it doesn't all. Hey Robert, yep, the Mountain Dew, it's my favorite drink. I just like it. And this mug that I have, it's great because it holds 2 cans of Mountain Dew and some ice. So here we go. Let's see what happens. This is the part where that other one broke, and I'm hoping that it was just the cracks in there. So let's switching some things around, making sure I can see everything. I didn't mean to call the stream channel test. This wasn't. I was testing earlier. There on the luck is with me. Oh hey, Mountain Dew. Yeah. Let's see if that Mountain Dew luck is with me. So I'm just gonna pick one of these. Here we go. Here's one. And get my trusty fire tweezers. that ready. The other day I burnt my fingers with the wax. I wasn't paying attention. I got the wax nice and hot, put the stone on it, and then I was just sitting here, and then my fingers hit the wax. The wax stuck to my fingers, and it hurt for a couple days. That was not fun. I think that was the first time I burnt myself doing that. And this is the boring part. Ooh, the music that's on right now is kind of like intense. So, and this wax, this is an alcohol lamp. You just put in like rubbering alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, and it burns it. It's kind of like a lower temperature flame, and this wax that I'm using is a lower temperature wax as well. And it smells pretty good when it burns. It's like pine wax or something. So this is a bigger stone. I'm going to add just a little bit more wax that I happen to have lying on around here because I'm a messy person. Yes, please don't crack. Lolo, yes, let's cheer on the opal. Don't crack, little opal. Right now, you can't really weigh the carats right now because I'm still going to take off quite a bit of that top dome, and it's absorbed some of that water. But right now, let's see what it's at. It is at, I'll put this over here. Seven carats right now. So some of that's water weight, and then we'll lose a good amount on the dome. So I'm hoping, maybe 3 to 4 carats is what we'll end up with, maybe 5. All right, this wax is just about there. And then we'll get the opal hot. Checking for cracks right now. I don't see any. I'm also just going to try to warm up the opal so the wax sticks enough that I might put it back over the flame just a little bit to kind of seal it in a little bit more if it doesn't crack. The wax I might have used might not have been good wax. Okay, there we go. So, here we go. Fingers crossed. So my hope is if I just warm it up slowly, I mean the other one I did too as well, but just take it nice and easy. Okay. Hopefully that's warm enough because I'm going to go for it. Here we go. Nope, not warm enough. I'm going to get different wax. This wax isn't working. But on the bright side, no cracks yet. Let's see how hot that got. It didn't get very hot. That might have been part of my problem. So I'm just getting different wax. I also thought music might make this a little bit more interesting when it's boring stuff like this. I think it's fun, Lauren, that you're messaging from like the 4 different. Not yet. Let's check again. Not yet, but it didn't get hot enough to stick the wax. So I'm also gonna get some new wax on here. I like this song. When you do have a bunch of wax like this, it does take a while for it to get warm enough to put on the stick. You don't want to burn. You don't want to get the wax burning. Yeah, so I'm streaming to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, and I don't think anyone else has done. Now here's one piece of square. I don't think anyone else has done a gem. Yeah, Mountain Dew, we kind of were thinking like maybe you're one of my my brothers or something, hidden away and not telling me who they were. But I'm glad to have you here. I hope you find this interesting. All right, so that wax is getting hot. That's good. All right, let's go for it again. So getting the opal hot. Slow and steady. I kind of thought Mountain Dew. I kind of thought it was one of my brothers making fun of me because I kept on saying Mountain Dew the last time I streamed. Still no cracks. You might be good on this one. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so now should be able to leave that going for a little bit. Now you want to make sure that kind of push the wax around underneath the gem. Ouch, it's hot. That part right here is hot too. So be careful. Still no cracks. So now you want to make it even. I use the base to kind of make my even area. So that looks pretty good. And then it broke off. It didn't break, but it broke off the stick. So now I have to do that again. I'm just going to double check really quick. Still no cracks, so that's making me hopeful. I think we might be good with this one. So the wax, it holds the stone onto the dop stick. This is called a dop stick. I'll hold it up. This is just the stick with wax on it, and this is so you can have better control when you're cutting the top and stuff. So the wax is kind of like the glue that temporarily holds the opal to the stick. Some people use super glue. Some people use super glue, I guess, is the main one. And then when you use that one, you use acetone to get rid of, to dissolve the super glue. The reason why I don't like doing that with, especially with Ethiopian opals, is that mainly Ethiopian opals absorb things like oils, absorb water. They can absorb quite a bit of stuff, and I don't want acetone in the opal to potentially ruin it. So the main thing I want to work with opals is just water. So if you're ever going to think about buying rough opals or anything, I probably wouldn't recommend buying Ethiopian opals in oil that are stored in oil. That's one way that you could probably hide some of the cracks and stuff, because the oil gets into those cracks and then it hides them. And since the oil won't really evaporate or dry out like quickly, it will still evaporate and dry out, maybe even go rancid. That's just a guess. That's not a research guess. That is just a Nathan guess. Don't quote me on that. But that oil will still be in there, and as it slowly goes away, over time, the crack will show up again. So if you are looking for opals to like play around with, and they're stored in oil, don't get them if they're Ethiopian. If they're Mexican or Australian, that should still be fine. Those opals won't absorb water like the Ethiopian does. And the quality that opals, what it's called is called hydrophane, and that means they absorb water. And it's kind of scary the first time when you're cutting an opal, all of a sudden the color goes away. They go really, really clear, and there's not very much color, and you think you ruined it. And then you get online, you're frantically searching, you're trying not to cry, thinking you just ruined this opal, and then you read that that's normal. So let's try this again. I got the wax hot enough, and then the opal hopefully is warm enough. Nope, I think I need the wax a little bit hotter. You can tell when the wax is hot enough because it'll kind of stick to the stone. If it doesn't stick, it just kind of bounces off. It's not hot enough and it won't stick to the stone. So let's try this again. So again, that one it doesn't really stick to the stone, but what I'm going to try to do now is carefully kind of get it all hot at once. And I'm hoping that the wax warms up and the opal warms up, but that it all helps together to like keep it, I'm hoping that the heat change won't be as bad, and so it'll protect the opal, is what I'm hoping. That's another Nathan guess. So that's hot because it's dripping. So I think I might have gotten it again. So again, I'm just gonna carefully tip it, try to make it even so that whenever I change the stone, I know what angle I'm at. And that looks good. And then, this is annoying. I'm being super paranoid because I don't want the opal to break. So this is the boring part. This is where I spend a lot of my time, because then I'll be cutting the stone and the opal will fall off and I have to do this all over again. So look at this a few more times. If it doesn't work or if I can't get it because I'm doing too chicken, then I'll probably just go on and move to another stone. Maybe that black opal, the black Australian opal. So let's do this again. So again, you want the wax pretty warm, like you want it to be malleable and movable, but you don't want it to be boiling or smoking. Still no cracks, so that's good. I was telling people that were attending earlier, so when this big opal broke on me, after the stream, I held one of the pieces over the flame to I was mad. Die, opal! And so I held it over the flame just to see it. I held it out so it got pretty hot, and it didn't crack again. So there was just a fracture or something that wasn't. Well, that's what I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that as I'm saying that, this one doesn't break. Okay, up the wax one last time. Keep that going. And then keep warming this up. It's closer. If you get your fingers wet, you kind of protect yourself a little bit from the wax. Oh, dang it. One more time, and then I'll move on. I'm going to use one with more wax on it. Because it would be nice to have one of these streams and, you know, finish a gemstone. I wonder if my YouTube stream. Hey Lolo, do you want to check my YouTube channel? See if that's streaming right? It should be. Okay, that's nice and hot. Brenda, if you're still there, I was thinking about doing designing your pendant on one of these streams. I don't know if I'm going to do designing on the streams, because that's probably even more boring than this, because it's just me figuring out how to do stuff. So I don't know if I'll do that, but I was thinking about it. I might still try that out. Okay, the wax is plenty hot, so let's see if this does it. This is a lot of wax, so now what I need to do is go ahead and get my fingers wet and pinch. You don't want the wax on the outside of the stone, or else that's going to mess up when the wheels cut it. Now, make it even. Ouch. It's pretty hot. Push that in. Alright, and now we're gonna let that cool. It still might pop off the stone, but the good part is no cracks. So we should be able to keep cutting that one. And that does seem on there pretty good. So that one we're gonna let it cool. You just want to let it cool naturally. You don't want to like dip it in the water, because that might make it fall off the stone a little bit easier. So just let it cool naturally, and while that's cooling, we can go ahead and start shaping the next one. So I showed a little bit earlier this black opal. And really what I'm trying to decide is whether to make it an oval, or for like a ring stone, or this freeform shape. And I'm leaning towards an oval because it's a little bit more usable. It is a nice stone. Right now it's at, and again, Ethiopian opals, they don't absorb water. So it's at 3.4 carats right now. The back is a little bit big, so that is one thing I'd have to fix. There is a little bit on the top I have to take down. I mean, it's small enough. The problem is if I try to take it and make it into an oval, I would lose a fair amount. I could make it, actually, I think I'll make it into a triangle. For some reason, I like triangles, and I could still make this into a triangle, if I just cut this little top off, and I still think that would make a good ring stone. We can put the triangle like that. Here, I'll give a close-up for everyone. See what you guys think. Oh, let's do a poll, or whoever, chat me, tell me what you think this should be. Whether it should be a freeform, which would be basically the same shape that's already in, or whether I should make it into a triangle. So, I'm going to fix the blur on that. And now, so here it is. You can see the nice blue flashes of color. And this is a black opal. You can see this black stuff, or this dark. That is actual opal material. It's called potch. And the potch is still opal material. It just doesn't have any color. So this one has that nice blue. I think this would make an awesome ring stone. So I think I'm going to go with a triangle. I haven't seen any chats come in telling me I shouldn't go with a triangle. And I'll just get rid of this little edge right here, and that will be that. So let's go with that. So again, just kind of looking, seeing exactly what I want to do. Because that corner does have a big flash. It does have a big flash of blue. Go ahead and look at it through this. Yeah, that corner has my best color. I think freeform. I think I'm going to leave it like it is and just kind of polish off the top and fix the bottom. So on the bottom, I do need to take it would still make a cool stone. Yeah, I'm just going to do freeform. Thank you, babe. Because if I do a long, skinny oval, I don't think that looks very, it looks good, but I think the freeform is more interesting than a long, skinny oval. And if I take off that corner, that's a lot of color. I don't want to get rid of that color. So let me think if I can make this a triangle any other way. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it freeform. I'm just going to shape the back a little bit more. Well, not shape, but like take off the back. Because it's too thick, even though, technically that would be part of the carat weight. It doesn't feel good to get a heavy, nice carat-y, heavy stone and then find out that most of it's on the back. I'm just going to take the back down a little bit more. And it got gray. Today was so sunny and so hot. And now I look outside and it's all gray. And again, to do the back, you kind of have to judge what a good back will look like for your stone, or how thick you want it. So I think about there, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. I think I'll want to finish off the back when I stick it on the top stick. Okay, I like that. So now it's time to put this one on a dop stick. Again, this one's going to be easier because I don't have to. I still have to worry. You still don't want to get an opal super hot, but you don't have to worry as much. So I don't have to be as. So the person that I used, if you want to learn how to cut opals, and mainly Australian. The person I used mainly, and I self-taught myself, so I still have a lot to learn. But the person I used, his name is Justin, and he has a YouTube channel called Black Opal Direct, and you can learn a lot from him, and that's where I learned a lot of this stuff. So with that, one thing he did was he did tests on opals, and he took potch, again, which is kind of the black stuff on this side. He took potch that didn't have any color, and then he just held it over a fire. And or a candle, kind of like this one, and that one took about 30 seconds before it cracked. So, and we're not going to be holding ours for 30 seconds. So I'm just getting this hot. I'm going to get my fire holder ready. Black Opal Direct, yeah. So Mountain Dew says that's where he gets, for those that are on the different platforms, Black Opal Direct is where Mountain Dew on Twitch says he gets a lot of his opal content. It's a really good place. I'm glad he does that because that's how I learned. The first opal I did was using sandpaper, and I got that idea from Black Opal Direct. And I also, my first Australian opal was also from Black Opal Direct. He does like beginner parcels. And so I tried one of those, and it worked out. I mean, I got a really good doublet. Hey Josh, how's it going? I got a really good doublet from it, and then I have some stuff that I still haven't finished working on just because I didn't really know how, so I messed it up. But that's what the beginner parser is for. It's, there's not. It's still kind of expensive, but it's not as expensive that you're gonna cry when you mess it up. So now the wax is warm enough. And now I'm just going to get the opal hot enough so that the wax binds to it. So Josh, you still doing reef tints? Every once in a while, I still want to get one, and my brother's getting back into it, and it's making me want to get a reef tint again. I'd probably go with like a Red Sea. One of those Red Sea all-in-ones, the smaller ones though. But right now I have opals to take care, that hobby itch. So get that out of the way so I don't burn myself. Fingers in water. So this one, I'm going to use the top as my guide as to what's straight, because I've already kind of straightened the top. Okay, dang it. I thought I was just about to say that looks good, but it doesn't. Okay, this wax is completely shot. I'm going to get rid of all of it. Yeah, I think I'm into the colorful stuff. Because if you think about it, the fish and the coral and everything was nice and colorful. And then I'm doing the opals, which are super colorful. So I think I just like colorful, shiny themes. That's what I should play on here. Is that shining song from Moana? It's funny. I'm just gonna get rid of all this wax. There's nothing sticking to it, even though that opal was pretty warm. That probably wasn't the best of my ideas. Let's burn that off. Good thing I have a bunch of water there. Fun times. All right. Here's one I have handy. So let's just get this stuff in the stick again. All right, see you, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, tune in whenever you want. One thing with the wax, a little bit does go a long way. You don't need a lot. This also is very intense music. It's like perfect for you know, putting the opals on the wax. Okay. That should do it. Nope. Dang it. Sure. Here, I'll just do it this way. Figures what I'm trying to show off. It's when it takes the longest. Okay, let's try this again. And you know, when I'm doing this, when I'm taking this and polishing the top and stuff, it still has a little bit of a ridge that I need to take care of. So depending on if if the color goes away while I'm working on that ridge, I may need to reshape it. But so far, I think there's going to be color, and I'll be able to give it. It's going to be a flat top. It's not really going to have that dome edge that a lot of people like on the opals, and that's just because a lot of times the color bar where the color actually exists on Australian opals is pretty thin. So that looks good. Go ahead and put that to the side. And now, while that's cooling, we can go ahead and start with the what was that? We can go ahead and start with the with this one, the one we've been working on earlier. So I'm just going to give it a test and make sure it doesn't pop off. And I don't want to try to pop off too much because I'm pretty sure it will pop off. I'm just going to be a little bit careful. Seems to be all right. So what I'm going to do is start kind of giving it a curve, giving it a more defined edge. and also give it a kind of an angle so that it can be set in a setting. So on the sides here, I wanted about a 10 degree angle, and that will let it be set in like a jewelry setting, like a. And then the top, I'm just going to take and basically even it out first, but there's still some ridges and bumps I need to take care of. Get out of there, and once those are gone, then I'll just make a dome, and then I'll kind of blend the dome into the edge. And this is the part where you want to get down in here. You want to make sure you're being even. I can tell I may have to reshape. I'm going to have to reshape it a little bit. Actually, I just need to straighten out this side a little bit more. And there's still a little bit of like a scratch or kind of a crack that it's not cracked inside. It's just a spot where it kind of chipped out before, like either when I was sawing or at some point that I need to take care of. And on the side as well. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So that's still there. And that's why you need to dry your stones, is because you might not be able to see that when it's wet. The water will kind of collect in that little crack and you won't be able to see it. So when you're checking for things like that, you'll want to dry it so that you can see it. Still just almost there, so just a little bit more. So now I have to come in here and take more off on this side to match it, and make this side a little bit straighter. Corner I need to take down. Alright, I think I'm liking that shape, so just a little bit heavy on this side. And take it to this one so it doesn't eat as much material. I can round it a little bit easier. Liking that. Okay, so I think I got the shape for the most part done. It looks fairly symmetrical. There might be a few things I need to touch up as we go along. But now I'm going to go ahead and give it again, kind of that 10-degree edge, so that prongs or a bezel can come up over the sides. And now I'm going to make it a high dome, and so it's going to go ahead and take this back to this one. I'm going to cut it at a 45-degree angle first, trying to give it a nice even cut. And then I go in at 60 degrees. And then I'm going to come back to this one. And again, trying to make it a nice even cut. .45 degrees. Start to even it out. Looks like I go down there. Oh, there's a little tiny scratch right there that I have to take care of. So I have to go a little bit further than 45 degrees. But I have enough space to spare, so I'm just going to drop down my line a little bit. That crack, it's kind of a spot where like a chip or something was taken out of the opal, so it's kind of deep. I'm having to go in a little bit further than I wanted to. It's almost out now. Alright, the rest of it should come out with the other phases. So I am ready to finish up this wheel. What I want to do is just make sure that that line is nice and straight. Make sure that it's looking symmetrical still. Yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good. There's a spot here that I don't like on the tip that I have to fix. Alright, that looks good. So just trying to make the top symmetrical. And then, so when you're looking at this, you want it symmetrical from the, some front sideways, from the front and back, and then from top down. So basically you're going to be looking at it from all angles, making sure it is symmetrical. And then making sure the top looks the same. And then the sides look the same. This tip just needs a little bit of work. Okay, now I'm ready to go down. And this is where we start to see it a little bit form a little bit more. This wheel still takes quite a bit of material off, but it's not as much as the other one, so I can be a little bit faster. My goal with this one is to kind of get rid of the facet lines so that everything is smoothly blended together, and get rid of all the scratches from the previous wheels. But you definitely don't want to stop, because then you'll get a facet basically where it cuts in a little bit further than you want it to, and then you'll have to correct that. Okay. To the sides, except the sides of that other wheel, so I need to go make sure all those scratches are off. Now, we're going to go down to this wheel. You can use the reflection of the light to kind of adjust how even and smooth your cut is. So I can tell that this side is a little bit more rounded than the other side. So before I go back into polishing, because the next two wheels are basically pre-polished and polished is on the side, I do need to kind of straighten out this side a little bit more so that it looks more like the other side. but it's almost there, so I don't want to do it too much. That's too aggressive. I don't want to use that last one. That looks better. But now since I cut the side, I kind of have to go back in and make sure it has that angle again, and make sure that they're all straight again. Just a little bit adjusting the dome. Okay. Now again, I'm using a light to kind of make sure my cut is smooth. Now I'm just going to work on this one quite a bit, and get out all the scratches, and also kind of even it out a little bit more. making sure it's symmetrical. Polishing up that angle, well, not polishing yet, but working on that angle for setting. Oh, yes, I bet those kitties are very hungry. Alright, I like what I see. So now this is a pre-polish, and then the side wheel is polished. So we're going to go ahead and finish out the top here. There's just a little bit of a facet up here on the top that I want to get rid of. Alright, now getting there, we'll have a finished stone yet. Now before I take it to the last polish, I like to spend some time with making sure I get all the scratches out on this one. So there are just a few things I don't like. The side isn't super even, so come back here and even it up a little bit more. Hey Austin, how's it going? Glad you could make it. You just about finished your if I could talk. You're just about ready to see a gem, get polished and finish top. I need to finish it back first, but it's getting there. We're about done with this one. Right now I'm just trying to make it nice and even. That looks better. So now let's go back to polishing and start polishing that up. That's looking good. All right. So now I'm just going to use a side thing to polish, and then we'll take a look at it. I'll finish the top, and then we'll be done. This is when I usually break off, not break the opal, but the opal kind of snaps off the dop stick, and so I want to be a little bit careful. This one's probably boring for everyone because you can't see what I'm doing. You just have to trust me that I'm working on the stone still. Alright, let's take a look at that. Let's see how that turned out. Oh, and it just popped off the little stick anyway, so good timing. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go do a close-up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the autofocus. Getting close. So this is what it currently looks like. So you'll notice that, see how it absorbed all that water? That's why it's so clear. So now the top is done. Now what I have to do is finish off the bottom. There's a chip right there that I need to take care of. And I'm also going around the bottom to kind of help bounce the light in there. So that is what we're going to do next. Good old Mountain Dew. Okay, so we'll come to this wheel. And then I'm actually not going to polish the back all the way. First, because you don't need to. And yeah, mainly because you don't need to. So now what I'm trying to do is kind of get the rest of the back to be even, but also kind of curved in to the middle a little bit, kind of so it's convex. And then I'm going to even it with that crack or that chip, so that I lose less material. I'm almost there. Still there a little bit. I want to make sure it's all the way gone. So there's still a tiny bit there, but I think at that point I can round it out with the rest of it. Now what I want to do is make sure the whole bottom is flat and even, kind of parallel with the top. And move it down to this one. I'm also going to carefully cut out this sharp edge, and this is where you can crack a stone or chip a stone. It won't really crack at this point, but I mean, it will definitely chip if you hit that edge wrong. So I'm trying to carefully round out that edge just a tiny bit. Now to give the that's looking pretty good. So just a little high here. There's still a little bit of that little chip that's at the front. It's still making it look a little uneven, so I have to go back and take out more. A bit more. Looks good, so I'm going to finish that out. Still just a little bit, man. That is annoying. We're going to leave it for now. And then this is, I'll probably go down to this last one, and that'll be it. All right, I'll dry it off and we will take a look on how it turned out. So, find my microfiber cloth. Dry it off again. Let's start there. All right. I think it turned out really, really good. So, turn off this autofocus and zoom in. And here we have it. So, and I'll put another video of it once it dries out, because now it's going to turn white. And then when the water starts evaporating out of the stone, it's going to turn like this milk white, which doesn't actually look pretty good. It looks pretty bad. You get worried that you ruined the stone. But then it keeps drying out and it'll go back to its nice shade. But here it is. And I think that turned out pretty good. A good polish, nice even lines. So yeah, I like it. And I think it's a really good opal too. Lots of color. I'm pretty happy about it. So with that said, that's 9:20. I plan on doing this for about 2 hours. I think we'll probably end the stream there. Let me turn the focus on. We got one done. Took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it is a really good one. I took my time on it, and I would be proud to sell this to anyone. So, oh wait. We have to see how much it weighs. Again, remember it's going to weigh when the water evaporates out. It'll probably lose. I've had an opal lose about half a carat before, so we'll see what that's going to be. So right now, it weighs 5.6 carats. So about a half a carat. So I think we'll have about a 5 carat opal when that's done, which is, I mean, it's a pretty good sized stone. And this one for the colors, I won't really know the price. Like and I'm not doing this to sell right now because I do post on some of those threads where they don't do sales, so I don't want to get banned from there, so I'm not selling this on the stream. But for those curious, the price would I'm hoping once it dries, if the orientation worked out where I wanted it to, and everything worked in that method, I'm hoping that I could sell it for anywhere from $80 to $100 a carat. So, well, that's on the very, very high end. 50 would also be pretty good for this. I think I could do 50 as well. So once that dries out all the way, I'll make a video, watch for it. I'll post it to all these places, YouTube, Facebook. I don't really have a way to post it to Twitch. So, but thanks for joining. If you're still here, if you stayed there the whole time, thank you so much. I'll probably start doing this kind of on a weekly basis every Wednesday, 7:30 Mountain Time for about around 2 hours. Yeah, thanks for coming. We'll see everyone around. And now the awkward part where I close the stream. All right, see you guys.